Hey, this is Kristen with Collision Hub, and we have wrapped up Skills USA in Kansas City, and I was not leaving town without taking a chance to come down and sit with our industry friend, Dan. Dan, we miss you. Where have you been?
I've been working.
It's just not the same going around to events and you're not there. So I know everywhere we go, people are always asking Brett when they see him where you are and how you're doing and what you've been up to. So I just wanted to spend some time with you. Just tell us, where have you been?
Well, I'm in Kansas City and doing something that I really missed and didn't know it until like the first week, and I figured that out, that I really missed dealing with the employees and the customers and the vendors and the insurers too. And so of the 5 stores that Brett owns, I'm overseeing 2 of the stores. And I play estimator at both stores, handle some claims, and it's been things have changed in 14 years. You know, being CARSTAR 14 years in the corporate world, and it's changed. But I love being at the store and dealing with everybody. So the biggest thing I tell you that I've seen change is just all the documentation and all the different rules of every insurance company. I'll tell you, you got to be really smart to be a good estimator.
Yeah, and keeping track of all of it. Now, in the 14 years that you spent with CARSTAR and corporate, you made some great moves in that organization, grew it, new growth, great shops, great improvements, new programs, more DRP partners. And then now back at the shop, has coming back from here to down here changed any of your philosophies or decisions and opinions on anything?
Well, if I had to, if I was starting my career over with CARSTAR, day one, I would have. One of the things that I would suggest, and I will suggest to CARSTAR, is the corporate employees, they need to get out in the field and spend time in the shop to see what our owners go through on a day-to-day basis, whether it's with the vendors, whether it's with the insurance companies. But things have changed a lot, and I don't think, people can tell you about it, but you actually need to handle a claim. You need to handle the claim from the time the customer comes through the door, on keeping that customer updated, on ordering the parts. 15 years ago, I ordered parts from one vendor. And today, I could have a $2,000 job and order parts from 5 different vendors, because that could be the DRP requirement. And so you're ordering parts from 5 different vendors, writing checks to 5 different vendors, you're receiving 5 different parts orders. It's put a lot of strain on this business. It really has. But the biggest challenge I have is just every DRP, every insurance, whether it's DRP or not, has different requirements. This one wants this many pictures of this, and the other one, it wants less pictures or more pictures of something else. And and then you got process claims, and then if you're going to do a good job, you need to use all data on the vehicles so that you repair them right. You replace the part at the right place, or you don't repair it, and you need to replace it. So it's just a lot of technology, and then on top of the estimating systems, you got the management system that tracks everything, so you can track your profitability and your efficiencies. And you just the competition. I tell you, the competition is pretty good out there today. I mean, with all the insurers, you get reports every month or every quarter. The biggest thing right now is CSI and touch time, and that's what. Everything. That's just what you got to be focused on. If you aren't focused on that, you're probably not going to be in business very long.
Yeah. Now I remember when I went to corporate and got my ivory tower brainwash done, and then came back out in the field a couple of years later. Just even in 3 years' time, I knew nothing about handling a claim anymore. I was just like, wow, I had totally lost it, and had to rethink a lot of my philosophies on how I was going to deal with the shops and what policies and procedures I thought we should have. So. Interesting perspective.
It does not take long to lose touch with what goes on in the real world. But, the easiest part of coming back was just dealing with the customers, and that's just being nice. I mean, you just be nice to them, and they appreciate that. And there's nothing better. I got a thank you letter, 2 of them today, one at each store. And there's nothing but that's the best compliment you can have to your business is a customer sends a letter in thanking you for the way you took care of them, because that just doesn't happen that much today with the way the world is.
That's a good point. I think in our industry for a while we lost the ball, which was the ball's the customer. We kind of lost it. Any insights where you think the customer really wants from us these days as an industry, and what we should be delivering to them?
Well, they want to be communicated with more today than ever. And sometimes it's text, sometimes it's email, sometimes it's phone call. And sometimes, I mean, we use AutoWatch on some of our claims, and some of the customers really love that. And others, they don't want to see their car all disassembled, you know. But it's just, I think it's our job as a collision repairers is when part of selling that job is finding out what lines of communication they want, you know. And like I said, it could be phone, it could be text, it could be email, it could be AutoWatch, or something similar to that. I think that's us taking care of the customer. If you're going to provide the highest level of customer service, you need to identify what that communication is that they want, and you're going to have a happy customer if you do a quality job.
Now, I can't think of hardly an association in our industry that pretty much you didn't help found.
Well,
at the root of all good in our industry, you were always there. And then, you know, you kind of had a year or so away from us, you know, in the day-to-day and the CI season where we go. How are we doing with keeping the industry moving forward? Are we keeping the industry on track with the vision that you had? Are we veering off? How do you feel we're keeping your legacy going?
Well, you know, I was in some of the rooms 30 years ago, and I could probably walk back in and say, well, nothing's changed. But I see a lot more younger people involved in the associations today, which I think is a good thing. I think we've been going up this hill for a long time trying to get over it, and I think that they're going to, you know, we kind of run out of gas, but they're going to take it and get us on up where we need to be. I think there's a lot of great things going on in the industry. I'd be lying if I told you I don't miss, you know, I really miss, you know, being on the SCRS board and the ASA board and going to CIC and NABC. I've been, you know, in about all them rooms at one point. I wasn't always real vocal, but when I was asked, I would talk. So, but I'll be back there. I mean, this is a very tough business, and you know, and when I left CARSTAR Corporate, Brett asked me to come help him, and we've got some work to do, and it's, you know, it's hard to make a profit, and we're doing everything we can to do that, and when we get, you know, a little better financially, I'll be back.
Yeah.
Right now it's, you know, he's involved, he needs to go, and you know, it's double expense for both of us to go, but I'll be back. I watch what's going on. Let me tell you, I get, you know, when I was at CARSTAR Corporate, I get 150 emails a day. And I've somehow figured out to get about 75 still today from what's going on in the industry, because there's a lot more things that, you know, that you can learn from without being in the room today. I mean, you know, like Collision Hub. I mean, you can watch what was going on at a meeting and not be there. So I'm keeping up. I'm keeping up.
Well, I know we'll be excited when you jump back in, because I think that philosophy of being in the corporate environment, back to the store and coming back, I think you're going to have a unique voice for us to hear. You're going to, you know, be able to kind of tell us where we might have lost some things. Now, at SEMA last year, you got a very important award, and the speech for it was Stacy Bartnick, which I don't think she got 3 sentences into it until the whole room was crying. What'd that mean? You know, I think we were all surprised. It wasn't something you already had.
I was so shocked. I guess I just, you know, you know, I can't tell you that I did anything any different to try to get that award or anything. I don't think that that's an award that you can just go out and set goals and time and action steps and say, I'm going to get that award. You just give back to the industry, and you help the industry that you love. I mean, it's all I know. I mean, I've been doing this since 1975, and anything I can do to make the industry better, that's what I want to do. And to be, you know, in the Hall Eagles it makes me feel great. It just makes me feel great, and it actually makes me want to do more to help the industry. It really does. And you know, I don't know who will be next, but there will be somebody that'll be next. But you know, the thing that I've always done on any committee, any board that I was on, is I was never made a decision on anything that just affected me. You know, I was looking out for the guy down the street. I was looking out for the person in Chicago. It just, because that's just, to me, that's the way you should base your decisions, instead of for your own need. And if it's good for the industry, then it's going to be good for me. And that's basically how I've just always conducted myself. And the other thing I've always done is, you know, and it's always been, my brother taught me this rule. He says, you know, you need to go to these industry meetings, and we're going to go as long as we bring home something every time. So every time I go, I'm trying to figure out, okay, and it's not always in a meeting. It may be at dinner, it may be having a cocktail. but you need to bring home something that's going to help pay for that trip. And I've always been able to do that, and I think everybody can do that, but you need to have that goal.
Yeah. So with all your perspectives, anytime I get a chance to sit down with somebody that's got the knowledge base you have, I never walk away until I get a chance to get a gem for the shops. So something that they get to take away from the interview. What are maybe your top 3 stop-starts? So things that shops should stop doing today, and maybe a couple of things that they should start doing today as well that you might have.
Well, I think industry-wide, people should stop giving things away that they're not charging for. And because we're sometimes our own worst enemy, and as long as 6 of them are giving it away, the other 4 aren't going to get paid for it, even though we deserve it and we did the work. We're not getting paid for it. And so that's one thing I'd suggest: stop giving stuff away. Be fair, no friction, but charge for what you do. The other thing is that I find that this industry does when the going gets tough is they quit investing in training and education, and they quit investing in marketing. That's number 1 or 2. When you're looking, okay, when the money gets tight, well, we can't afford to do this. But it's really exact opposite of what we should be doing. If I could give advice to the industry, is to invest in training and education, because you're never going to get enough of it, because cars are changing so rapidly today that we're liable to do something to a vehicle that puts the consumer, the customer, and their family at risk. And so training and education and marketing, market your business, because if you want to grow, you need to do that. And cut something else, but don't cut training and education, and don't cut marketing.
Right, you gotta have those. So I guess I just wanted to say thanks for taking the time. We miss you. I know that your industry friends miss you. I know that the CARSTAR franchisees miss you. Every time I see them, they want to know if I've seen you recently. Yeah. So we'll be excited to get you back.
I'll be back.
And keep plugging away at us, because we definitely need as many brilliant brains as we can have in the industry. We're all trying to figure out how to make it better, and we do. So stay tuned to Collision Hub. We always want to stop in and visit with the industry leaders. We're where we are today because these people took the time to build the associations and the groups to help you and your business grow. So get online, learn more about SCRS, the NABC, and the things that you can get involved with, because coming to the meetings and getting involved with us is the best way to grow your business and learn more and make it better. Thanks.